We just came from an interview in Pretoria for the Crimes Against Humanity documentary that we are currently making, and this interview was with a professional criminal. And he told us all about his life in crime, and what was really standing out for me was the fact that he talked about the police, and he said that when the police was still the only factor that were there to prevent crime, it was easy to be a criminal. But today, with private security, it is a lot more difficult. He also gave very insightful answers on how it works in crime in Pretoria, and we decided that we are going to put this interview raw and uncut for you so you can watch the entire interview. Good day, dear friends, this is Willem Petzer speaking. Be sure to subscribe for more insightful videos about South Africa like this, and you can also join our WhatsApp group to keep you up to date with all the work being done by the Willem Petzer group by simply sending your name and surname to the number on the screen. We also offer a paid subscription where you can contribute and help us growing and going with the work we are doing. And to find out more about this, just send sign me up to the same number also on the screen. We'll call you and we'll tell you about it. So why are we doing this interview anonymously?
I would like to keep it anonymous because it's part of my profession, so I can't expose myself.
And what would you describe your profession to be?
I can describe it. I'm more into the motor vehicle industry.
Okay.
Yes.
You steal cars?
Stealing cars. You can put it that way.
And how many cars have you stolen over your career?
Yo, it's a lot.
A lot?
It's a lot.
You don't know how many?
It's a lot. I lost count.
I see. And how many times have you been arrested?
I've been arrested a number of times. Went to prison, came back. Yeah, a couple of times.
Would you say 20 times, 30 times?
We can roughly say maybe 10 times or more than 10 times.
Would you describe yourself as being afraid of the police?
Yes, I can describe myself as saying I'm afraid of the police. We respect them, but as part of our job, there's nothing we can do. You understand?
And who are you more afraid of, the police or the private security guys?
You know, lately the private security now is dominating.
Yes.
I can say the private security industry is dominating more than the police. We're actually scared of the private security than the police. Because if you can check, even most of the arrests are like 70% of the arrests are done by private securities. So police, not that scared that much of them. But yes, private securities, yeah, they are the number one now.
And of those times that you were arrested, how many times were you caught in the act of committing crime?
I was caught in the act maybe like 2 times.
2 times?
2 times in my career. I've been caught in the act like 2 times.
And was one of those 2 times the time that you went to jail?
Yes, one of the acts that made me caught led me to go into jail.
And the other time, why did you not go to jail that time?
Because of some of the cases were withdrawn.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you are busy committing a crime and you are being arrested and it's the police, what's the process going from there? They arrest you, take you to the cells, and then?
Yeah, they arrest you, take you to the cells, they process you, they charge you, and after charging you, you go to court. That's what happens.
The time that the case was thrown out, was that because the evidence was not collected?
Yes. In most cases, it's a sufficient evidence which they have against us.
And if the private security arrests you, is the evidence usually much more sufficient? Are they more professional when collecting evidence?
We could say we could not say they're professional, but they are there. They do most of their job. Like they write down the statements. They do everything. Most things that the police don't do.
Yes.
You understand? So the private securities, yeah, they do help there.
Okay, why did you choose crime as a career?
Let me cut my story short. I was raised in a not wealthy family, but an average family.
Middle income.
Middle income. Went to private schools, went to boarding schools.
Really?
I went to all of those stuff. Private schools, boarding schools, you understand? So it was a thing that I grew up in the education. So it was that thing that I wanted to prove to my friends that, you know, I'm not supported by my parents. I can also do my stuff. That's what led me to the life of crime. To prove to my friends that I can be able to do my things on my own. I don't need my parents' support. I don't need my father's support. I don't need my mother's support. That's what led me to crime. It's actually like proving a point to my friends that I can be able to take care of myself.
And why are you still in the life of crime? Do you need to still do crime to support yourself, or is it now just because you like it? Why would you say why are you still a professional criminal?
You know, I can say it's a lame excuse for me to say, you know, there's nothing I can do. I've got a criminal record. I won't be employed by any company or anything. That's what made me stick to stealing and doing crime. So yeah, that's it.
So most of the criminals that you know, are their stories similar to yours, where you didn't need to do crime, but you did it because you wanted to? Or do you think most of them are doing crime because they have no other choice?
You know, each and everyone has his own history, like his own little story to share to what made them leave. I don't think that anyone can wake up this morning saying, I want to be a criminal. I want to, you know, it's circumstances that lead us to be involved into crime and certain stuff.
So where you stay in Mamelodi, in your area, how many of the people that live there would you say are criminals professionally, and how many of them would you say are just normal people working?
A lot, sir. A lot.
A lot.
A lot. You know, growing up in the, I'm not saying it's bad, but growing up in the vacation and stuff like that, you grow up next to people who've been in prison. They talk about the experienced life, you know. So it's something that when you're arrested, you already have an idea of what's happening, because, you know, all the guys told you before outside what's happening. So you already have an idea. So yeah, many people in the vacations have criminal records and stuff like that, and mostly of them are criminals.
Most people in the location are criminals.
We could say that. We could
More
say
than
in a ratio.
50%.
We could say in a ratio of maybe 40% criminals, 60% like normal.
That is a lot.
It's a lot, sir.
There's
It's a
2
lot.
million people living there. It means there are 800,000 criminals living.
We can say that. It's a lot.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Wow. And how did you get taught to do crime? Who taught you how to steal cars?
You know, I grew up in a family where there's lots of cars. So we used to have a workshop. So me falling in love with stealing cars, because I was able to, you know, to pinpoint what must I do to do this, to turn the car on without having the key and stuff like that. That's how I learned. Learning from mechanics, a mechanic who's fixing cars. That's where I learned how to steal cars there and there.
And would you say it's easy for you to steal a car? How long will it take you to steal just a normal average car that you turn on with a key?
It depends, but maximum 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Is to steal a car.
2 minutes from being outside of the car to driving away.
2 minutes from being outside the car, opening the car, getting inside the car, starting it and going.
And then what about newer cars that don't work with keys, that are keyless ignitions?
There's a walk in the park.
Really? Even easier than the key?
Even easier than the keys.
Can you describe the process to me? What do you do in order to steal a car like that?
You know, there's sophisticated equipment that we use.
Like a computer box?
Yes, like computer boxes, machines. There's new specialized machines that we use to open the cars and start the cars.
And how do you get your hands on these machines?
The black market.
Okay. And
Black market.
is it expensive to buy such a computer box?
Yes, sir.
How much does it cost?
They range. It depends what type of machine you're buying. They range. They sometimes range from 50 upwards up to 100. 100,000. So they're quite expensive, those machines.
So if I buy a Hilux for 800,000 rands and you steal that Hilux from me, how much can you sell that Hilux for?
Way less than what you can ever think of. It's not what people think. Like when it's 800,000, we sell it like 400,000. We sell it way less than that.
How much would you say roughly?
Roughly, for argument's sake, maybe if it's an 800,000 car, we can sell it maybe for 100 or 100 and something thousand.
100,000?
Yes.
Who buys these cars?
Usually, it's our Indian brothers from other countries.
From other countries. And what do they do with them? Do they take them over the border, or do they disassemble them?
Some of them they disassemble, some of them they take over the border.
Which countries would you say take most of our cars?
Zimbabwe and Mozambique.
Zimbabwe and Mozambique. It's very interesting to talk to you. You are so open about what you do for a living. It's astonishing, actually. Let's go back to the fact that you said that roughly 40% of people in the township are criminals. How many of them would you say are violent criminals that will commit violent crimes? Like murder, aggravated assault, shooting someone, stabbing someone with a knife, that type of crime.
Can you repeat that question again, sir?
How many of the criminals, let's say, as we said, about 40% of the township's inhabitants are criminals, you say.
Yes.
How many of them are violent criminals?
It's going to be very difficult for me to answer that. There are violent people, there are violent criminals, but I'm not associated with them, so I cannot speak too much on people that I'm not close to, you understand? There are people who are violent, there are people who kill each other every day, who stab each other, there are violent people, but I'm not...
I'm talking more about someone that is willing to get a gun, go out and commit an armed robbery, He's not breaking into a house that he knows the people are not there. He doesn't care. He knows the people are inside the house, so he will break into the property and then commit an armed robbery. Is it common, or do you think most people would rather try and break into a house that the people are not there?
What's common is it's the one you just mentioned now, where they break into houses and people are not there. Sometimes, I've got friends who do house breakings. Sometimes they tell me that, they enter a house knowing that there's no one in there, only to find out there's a helper, maybe in the back room or something.
Or somebody is...
or maybe there's a kid who was playing a game upstairs or something. And it happens that it now changes the whole scenario. It's no more house breaking. It turns into a house robbery, where they have to hold someone for hostage, and they do whatever they do and they leave. So in most cases, when it turns like to robbery and stuff like that, it's sometimes when this scenario changes, then it changes to house robbery. But most of the people that I'm associated with, they don't do house robberies.
So if they find out somebody is in the house, they would rather try and flee?
They won't flee. They will finish whatever they came to do there.
So if they came to steal something and they see people inside the house, then they'll continue, and then they'll tie the people up.
They'll tie the people up. Some of them might not hurt them, some of them will hurt them.
Do they usually take weapons along, guns, knives?
No. Lately, they don't take. A couple of years back, before the private security industry was booming, they used to take guns. I'm talking about the people who are doing house robberies and house breakings. They used to take guns back then. But now, since the private securities are booming and stuff like that, they don't take guns anymore.
Why not?
They know that the securities are going to shoot back.
Yes. And they can usually shoot better.
They can shoot better. The securities, they go to shooting ranges. We don't go to shooting ranges. You understand?
So you're saying the private security industry made them too afraid to take guns along?
We can say that.
Yes.
The LPR cameras and everything, it changed everything.
It changed the industry, so to speak.
You can even, I'm not sure, but you can even check the stats of around the area we are in now. They'll tell you that house breakings and house robberies have went down dramatically.
Yes.
You understand? Compared to vehicle theft.
And that's all private security.
All of that is controlled by who? The private securities.
So back when the police was still doing the policing, it was much easier to be a criminal.
For them.
For them, yes.
Yes, for those who do house breakings, it was actually easier. So now it's a problem that we need to deal with, like two people or three people. It's the private securities, the police, and maybe for argument's sake, if I'm in the motor vehicle industry, it's the tracker guys. So it's like three different people we need to be worried about. But most commonly, we know that we need to be scared of is the security because they're all over.
Yes.
They're more visible than the police.
And more professional, one can say.
If we can say, we understand. So, yeah.
Thank you for watching. We hope you appreciate the work we are doing. Be sure to give us a subscription or even a paid subscription by sending sign me up to the number on the screen, and you can help this channel going. Goodbye and God bless.